So, what is the TransAtlantic Genealogy Summit and why now? So, the TransAtlantic Genealogy Summit is something that I think has kind of been in the making for about 25 years. When I was 17, 25-ish years ago, I learned of elements of my ancestry that no one in my family knew about. And it was mostly focused on the European parts of my family history. And you look at me and you wouldn't think that that would be something to investigate. But this summit is about bringing together people of African descent, people whose ancestors came from West Africa. For me, really thinking about Ghana, which is where my parents came from, and making connections that most of us thought were not possible. So when you think about family history, ancestry, genealogy, most people are thinking about looking at documents and finding that they were related to people like royalty and Europe and all these kinds of things. But if you're a Black person, A, when you find those connections, it's not usually something you're excited about. And B, it's often very challenging to find connections because Black history has not been documented the way dominant European history has been. So I realized after having spent more than 10 years researching my family history based on documents, that the documents only led me to mostly men and white men at that. And my parents are from Ghana, West Africa. So if I'm having a hard time finding documentation about my direct ancestors who are from Africa, what is that going to look like from people who are African Americans? And so when I took a DNA test, I finally found all of these connections to people all around the world, but mostly people in the Americas who shared DNA with me. And then one thing led to another in terms of communicating with folks. I discovered I had something I'm now calling transatlantic cousins. These are people who are connected between Ghana and the diaspora. And so this summit, the Transatlantic Genealogy Summit, is an opportunity for Ghanaians who decided, after talking with me, that they would take a DNA test so that I could find their connections in North America, and to come together as a family and recognize that even though we think we know where we're from, even though we think we know our history, even though we think we know our family, that we're all part of a much larger family that really spans the globe. And this summit is a starting point for it to not be an individual initiative of mine, but it really started for me taking a DNA test and deciding I want to find the people that are connected to me, figure out the stories, plug in the holes, reimagine our history, rewrite the narrative, and together collectively see that we have the power within our DNA to manifest truth, that within all of us is this archive, a living archive. So the Transatlantic Genealogy Summit is an opportunity for people who have shared African ancestors to use our DNA to find each other, to explore possibilities of how we came to be connected to one another, how we came to be separated from one another, and that there are probably going to be many more questions that emerge than answers. But this is an opportunity to come together as a human family and explore and take action and leave something so much better for the generations that come after us. And for those generations above us, it's a gift, I think, to be able to say, we found each other, we're coming together, we're not lost, we're found.